Hello and welcome. I am Tom. You are your canines coach. Now, we all dream about having lovely, amazing, stress-free walks with our dogs, with our puppies. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 essential game-changing tips that you have not heard before. In the last 10 years, I have worked with so many puppies, I've raised so many puppies, and these are tips that I have learned along the way, and I now believe that they are non-negotiable. You cannot leave these tips out. And make sure you stick around to the end, because this 5th and final step or tip is good. Tip number 1 is forget A to B. When we go out on a walk, we plan the journey, we plan exactly where we want to go. Forget this right now, it's not important. What is important is that during your walk, if it's a 30-minute walk or whatever it is, you're building strong foundations and you're teaching your puppy good habits. It is so much better to only get 50 meters away from your house, but in those 50 meters, you are building up great habits that you want in your older dog. So things like checking in, things like being on a loose lead, and even time just to explore and take in this world which is so overwhelming for your puppy. Just give your puppy some time, share some good energy, and let your puppy actually explore and enjoy these first walks. Do not rush just so you can get from A to B. Just remember that is so not important. What is important are good habits and building good foundations. Tip number 2 is different types of walks. We need our puppy to learn different types of skills. These things are socialization, exposure, and learning. All 3 are a little bit different, but you might get all 3 on the same walk. But you need to have an awareness of when you need to do each one, because too often we just think about socializing, meaning we just allow the puppy to do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. And there's a time and a place for this. Socialization, for me and for you, should be when you are allowing your puppy to interact with other dogs and other people. You're teaching it almost social etiquette around other animals where we expect a certain social behavior. Now, we also need to pair in with that is learning. Our puppy needs to learn when it is allowed to do that and when it's not allowed to do that. For example, what behavior do we want on our standard lead walk when the puppy is an adult? We want our puppy to be able to see other dogs and pretty much look at us, walk on with no drama. We want that calmness. We don't want them to be learning how to greet another dog on the street in the same way that it would when you're socializing the dog in the park. I'm hoping that makes sense to you. Different types of learning for different types of environments and scenarios. It's very important, and we need to take the time to teach our puppy how to act in every single environment. We then have exposure, which is pretty much allowing our puppy or exposing our puppy to different sights, sounds, and environments. It's very important. They need to be able to cope with new things that aren't always expected. Building up confidence. This is another aspect of a walk. Now, you can make these 3 things specific of a walk. That's why I call this step different types of walks. Because you could go to the park and target socialization completely. Allow the dog to mingle, and that's socializing. But you can't always do that because you are going to create a lot of bad habits. In this week, you also need to incorporate things like your learning walk, where you are teaching your puppy how to focus, how to walk past other dogs, how to be brave, how to see something a little bit scary and go over, like exposure. All of these 3 different aspects need to be addressed on your walks from day 1. Tip number 3 is lead walking starts straight away, but not in the way that you think. Far too often I see the mistake of a puppy on their first walk on a super short lead where it is 100% going to learn how to pull. This is exactly what we do not want. Teaching our puppies how to respond to the most gentle lead pressure starts from day 1. This is a habit. It's not so much a lesson, it's building up a really good habit. That means when I start working with a puppy and on our first ever walks, I'm using either a long line or a flexi lead. And what I'm teaching the dog is it's okay to have some space. It's okay, go and explore. Remember, these are the very first walks that your puppy is having. It's a big world out there. It's not all about being so strict and having that dog right next to you in that heel position. So don't worry about things that aren't so important yet. What is important and what you really, really do need to focus on, that you should never forget, is how does your dog respond to tension? You do not want there to be a conflict. Instead of your puppy learning how to pull to absolutely everything, just give your puppy extra space on a longer lead so it can be a puppy, and make sure that 100% of the time, if there's any tension on that collar, on that lead, it responds to it, because there's no reason for it not to. And then over the next month or two, we are slowly going to rein that puppy in. We're going to slowly get it closer to us. We're going to introduce the heel position. We're going to introduce focus a lot more. And we're going to do lots of things that create great habits for that really nice tight lead walking right by your side. But the very first step is not allowing the dog to make mistakes. So no tension from day one. Give your puppy the space that they need. Now, tip number 4 is focus. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, especially my puppy videos, I'm always talking about focus, and there is a very good reason for that. It is the most important thing that you could ever teach your dog, and I will stand by that statement for as long as I'm a dog trainer. It really is the holy grail of dog training. Focus, eye contact, being able to get your puppy's attention. Now, I'm nice to you guys. I think I'm very soft with you guys. This is something that that I'm going to be a little bit more insistent on. Focus starts at 8 weeks old, the day that you get your puppy. Go and watch my other puppy videos, because I talk about it in real great detail. But it starts from 8 to 12 weeks. You're teaching your puppy focus and eye contact and the principle of ignoring a distraction, so that when you are on your first walk, your puppy has been prepared to succeed in this incredibly distracting environment. Now, let's talk about how you're going to implement it. You're on a walk. We've already spoken about how you're giving your puppy extra space. You're letting your puppy be a puppy, but also we need to make sure that this little drill, focus is just part of the walk. It's non-negotiable, and it becomes a very good, healthy habit that we ingrain into the dog from the very first day. Now, do not ask for focus when the puppy is at the most distracted part of the walk. If he's doing something that is a 10 out of 10, super interesting, you do not want to ask for focus, because there's a good chance that he's going to ignore you. He's just not ready for it yet. Choose a time where there's not a lot going on, he's just milling about, and then you can say your puppy's name and get that eye contact and reward the focus. You are just starting to create a really important habit. You have to be able to get your dog's attention. Start from the very first walk, no excuses. Tip number 5, this is the hardest step, this is the hardest tip, but it's going to give you the biggest difference, I can guarantee you that. Don't be embarrassed. Puppies are little shits. They make mistakes, they like to embarrass us, they don't want to listen when they're puppies. But don't be embarrassed. Don't fear judgment of other people. The way to train a puppy is when they are being a dick and they are embarrassing us, and it is frustrating because you know the people are watching, don't worry about anything. You need to be engaging. You need to act like a bit of a clown. So forget worrying about what other people are thinking and doing. Just worry about your puppy. It's a journey, it's a relationship that you're trying to build with your puppy. I am an absolute clown on a walk. I am literally like, right, come on in puppy, let's go, come on, pop. And I'm changing direction. I look like a lunatic. But what I'm actually doing is I am becoming an exciting, engaging part of my puppy's walk, rather than just being drowned out by everything else that's going on. It's really important to realize that you have to be that way to be able to get your puppy's attention. So just remember, anyone that's ever had a dog knows this feeling. They know that feeling of being embarrassed. You're asking the puppy to do something and it's just not listening. And then what happens is you get quieter. You're like, right, no, come on, let's do this. And your energy isn't strong enough or persuasive enough to get the dog to listen. You have to commit. You have to give your puppy everything to give it a reason to listen. If you just go into like your own little shell and you're like, no, like, come on, like, Egon, listen to me, like, let's go. Your puppy's not gonna listen. You need to have a presence and energy on that walk. It's the hardest thing to do, But don't worry about other people. Just focus on your puppy and your relationship, and I promise you, you will thank me very much for this step. So those are the 5 essential tips for your puppy's first walks. Now, I've got a huge favor to ask. When you have tried these tips, come back to this video, get into the comments below, and let the people know how well this actually works. I will pin it right to the top of the comments. People need to know that these are serious tips. They do work and they are game changers. This isn't clickbait, these things bloody work. So make sure you come back to this video and you let the people know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. If you've got any ideas for videos that you want to see, jump in the comments below, let me know what it is, and I can't wait to make them for you. Doing that thing where I talk a lot again and I can't cut the video off, so thank you, goodbye, get out. Why can't I ever do this? Thanks for watching. See you next week. Or in between A and B. Fuck. Hold on.
Do not rush.
Okay, do not rush. Focus is just part and parcel of the fucking walk. I don't know if it walks so your dog knows that it's just part and parcel. So it knows that it's part and parcel of the walk. This is a very bad. Just by you practicing that little skill. Little drill. Don't choose the most distracting moments because you're challenging it already. Go watch my other videos. So those... Maybe I have to stop it, go check out my videos, and then now I can talk about how to implement focus on the very first walk.
Alright, should I turn this off?
Oh, it's still going?
Yes. Outro.
So those are the 5 essential tips. I don't know, what the fuck is the video called?